Welcome to this video lecture in the topics procedure for shunt field system design and series field system design from third unit design of DC machines in the subject design of electrical apparatus. So first we will discuss about the procedure for shunt field system design. So in the field system design it have field pole design and field winding design. So it is shunt field system. So field pole design includes the area of pole body and width of the pole body in case of rectangular pole and diameter of the pole body in case of cylindrical pole. So flexing the field pole body, this leakage coefficient we will be assuming, then we will be calculating this flexing the field pole body, and area of pole body we are calculating by knowing this flex by flex density of the field pole, and this flex density is in the range of 1.2 to 1.7 Webers per meter square. So by knowing these two, we will be calculating area of the pole body, and if area is known, we can calculate diameter of the pole body in case if it is a cylindrical pole from the area cross section equation pi r square, and in terms of diameter it is the equation. And if it is rectangular pole, we will be calculating width of the pole BP by dividing the area with the length of the pole, and net length of the pole we are calculating by considering 90 percentage of the length of the pole, and length of the pole is length of the armature minus 15 to 10 to 15 mm we are subtracting from the length of the armature. So we will be getting LP and LPI, then we can calculate the width of the pole in a rectangular pole. So two parameters we are calculating, area of the pole body and diameter in case of cylindrical pole, width in case of rectangular pole. Next parameter we have to calculate is, so with this pole design is over, and then length of mean turn of the field coil. If it is rectangular section and if it is cylindrical field coil, these are the equation. If it is rectangular, length includes the pole body. Pole body is the inner length, and 2 times of depth at LP and BP. So 4 times of depth. These equations already we have derived. So finally we are giving the conclusion. Consolidated procedure to design the shunt field system. So length of mean turn equation is 2 times of LP BP plus 2 times of DF for a rectangular field coil, and for a cylindrical field coil this is the equation. Okay, length of mean turn is 2 pi r, or it is pi into D, so that D includes the depth of the pole plus DF by 2 at both sides, so it is DF. So DP plus DF pi D is the length of mean turn. So then we will be calculating the voltage across the field coil. So already these equations we have discussed, that is 80 to 80% of the applied voltage only will be available across the shunt field winding. The remaining 15 to 20% is the voltage drop in the voltage regulation process across the shunt field rheostats. So this is the voltage across the field coil, that is 80 to 85% of the applied voltage divided by pole. Okay, voltage across the field coil. And then area cross section of the field conductor can be calculated from this equation, that is we will be calculating the area of cross section from this equation, that is this is this is actually this equation we have derived earlier. So this rho L, so rho LMT into TFL is the length of the turn. Okay, so from this equation we can calculate the area of cross section of the field conductor, and then diameter of the field conductor. In case of circular field system, diameter we are calculating from pi r square equation. Suppose if it is the diameter of the field conductor including thickness. Actually, both in rectangular field system and circular field system, the conductor will always be a circular conductor. So that diameter of the field conductor we are calculating by using this pi r square equation, and then diameter of the field conductor including the thickness we are calculating. The thickness of insulation will be given in the problem, so that we can calculate the copper space factor SF, and then we will be getting two equations. These equations already we have derived. So this equation is based upon the actual copper loss taken place in the system, and this is based upon the total area of cross section of the conductors. So by solving these two equations, we will be getting HF and TF unknown variables. So HF and TF we will be calculating from this equation, and then we will be calculating the resistance by this one, this OL by A, and then current by EF by RF, and then we will be verifying the condition for current density of the field coil. So that the range is given, so that range should not be exceeded. Suppose if the range exceeds this particular value of 3.5 ampere per mm square, then we have to repeat the steps by increasing the area of cross section by 5%. That increased area of cross section AF by 5%, and area of cross section we are calculating in the step 5. Okay, so this area of cross section is substituted only in this step 5. So here we will be increasing the area of cross section by 5%, and then we will be repeating the steps to calculate this SF. SF will be varying, so that this the value of HF and TF will be varying, so that the resistance will be varying, and current, and then current density will be calculated. So like that, this step will be repeated until the criteria to be satisfied. The current density should not exceed 3.5 ampere per mm square. Suppose if it is exceeds, we will be increasing the area of cross section by 5%, so that this diameter of the field conductor will be varying, SF will be varying, and so this HF and TFC, here SF is varying, area of cross section is varying. So both the equations will vary. So as different values of TF and HF will be getting, and so the TF is getting varied. So resistance, current, and area. Then we finally calculating AF is also varied, IF is also varied. So different value of current density will be getting. Then again we will be verifying with the current density criteria. So this is one way of finalizing the area cross section of the conductor. Okay. So then is the verification for MMF. So field ampere turn, ATFL is IF into TF. ATFL is IF into TF. So that is verified with the actual value. So actual value of MMF AT actual for this field conductors will be given in the problem. So that should not be exceeded. The MMF should not exceed this particular value. So for that, that value will be mentioned in the problem, or you can take 1.1 to 1.25 times of the armature MMF is going to be the criteria. That value should not be exceeded. So we will be checking the condition after finalizing this TF from the above procedure. Suppose if this condition is not met out, and if it exceeds the criteria, then we have to increase the depth of the field winding by 5%. Depth of the field winding by 5%. Depth of the field winding is coming in the step 2. So see here, this depth of the field winding to calculate the LMT. So that is increased by 5%, and then step 2 to this 9 we have to repeat, and then again we will be checking the condition for this ampere turns. If it is satisfied, we will leave, or otherwise we will increase the depth of the field winding by 5% and repeat. And finally the check for temperature rise. So temperature rise has to be within the particular limit that will be given in the problem. If it is not satisfied, the heat dissipation surface has to be increased. So for that again we will be increasing the depth of the field winding. If depth of the field winding is increased, the heat dissipation surface, outer surface will be increasing, so that the temperature rise will be within the limit. So that will be increased by 5%, and so if depth is increasing, Then we have to repeat from the step 2 again, increasing the depth of the field winding, and then we will be calculating finally the temperature rises within the limit or not. So to calculate the temperature rise, so this is the formula. Actual copper loss and heat dissipation surface, these are all already known to us. And C is the cooling coefficient that will be calculated here. VA is the armature peripheral velocity, so that value will be that limit is 30 meters per second. So the surface equations and all we have already calculated. So by this we will be calculating the temperature rise and we will be verifying the criteria. So in the same way we can design the series field winding also. In series field winding only this ampere turn calculation will be differing. That is ampere turn for series field winding is going to be 15 to that is 1.5 to 0.25 times of the full load armature ampere turns. So armature ampere turns is armature current, that is conductor current multiplied with the total number of armature turns, ampere turns is Z by 2, current is IZ. So per pole. So actual armature ampere turns per pole is IZ into Z by 2P. So that so if it is a compound machine, armature ampere turns to be developed by series field winding is 0.15 to 0.25 times of armature ampere turns per pole. Suppose if it is a series field machine, it is 1.15 to 1.25 times of armature ampere turns per pole. So this value we are calculating, and then we will be calculating the total number of series field turns from this ampere turn equation. So ampere turn is ISC into TSC. So ATSC we are just now we have calculated, then from this we can calculate the total number of turns in the field coil, series field coil. And then diameter, so then area of cross section we will be calculating by assuming the current density. So current density is 2 to 2.3 ampere per mm square. So area of cross section of this series field conductor will be calculated, and then so we will be estimating the height of the field winding by having two equations. One equation is conductor area. So conductor area is area of cross section multiplied with the total number of turns in the series field winding. Another equation to calculate the conductor area is dimension, that is height and depth of the field conductors multiplied with the copper space factor. So copper space factor is given 0.6 to 0.7. So this equating these two equations, we will be still this HSC is unknown, that can be calculated from this equation. Okay, so the depth of the field winding can be calculated, and then resistance, the same formula as that of the shunt field winding, and mean turn also same equation as that of the field winding. Only thing is here depth of the series field winding will be substituted instead of shunt field winding DF. So the procedure is very similar to that of the shunt field winding. So only thing here, this ATC, that is ampere turn calculation, is different for series field winding and compound machine. In a compound machine also series field winding is there. So if it is a compound machine, so only lesser amount of field turns will be there in series field coil. But if it is entirely series field winding, so more ampere turns is required to set up the field. So that is 1.15 to 1.25. So here it is simply 0.15 to 0.25. The remaining 100% is of shunt field winding in a compound machine. So this is the design of series field winding procedure. So in this video, we have discussed about the design procedure of shunt field system, including including the field pole and field winding, as well as we have designed the series field winding also. The series field winding that is suitable both for series field machine as well as for a compound machine, which is having both series field winding as well as the shunt field winding. So this is about the design of shunt field system and series field system design. Thank you for listening.